Hi everybody, in this video I'm showing you a quick build that I'm working on, and basically this is, again, I don't have an optimized build because I always change it, trying to find something that I enjoy playing. Eventually I changed to Earth and then Lightning Storm, and eventually I decided, no, I'm going to go with the Lightning Storm. And basically my main damage dealing is the Lightning Storm. I'm also using Storm Strike, Debilitating Roar, Hurricane, Poison Creeper, and Earthen Bulwark. And I'm using also, the main damage you see also comes from Lightning Storm, Critical Strike, spawn 3 Dancing Ball that sick enemies in the area. Alright, damage, lightning damage. And of course, the thing is that you want to do this high critical strikes. Now, there is a way to do it if you go with Earthen Might and with another synergy that let me show you. This one, Werewolf skill function is Storm skill, and Werewolf skill functions as Air skill for the Nature Fury. Now, I'm using it now, but I don't actually choose the ability because I need it for generating, continuously generating spirits. Otherwise, I can exhaust it. So right now, as of the time, the ultimate will be using this one, but right now I'm using that one. But hopefully things will change when I find some, better drops. I'm just going to go over, you can see things. Again, this is not an optimized build, and I'm just waiting for the drops before embedding something that I have just one copy legendary pack from. All right. But basically, we also go something that increases my damage. So I have something about 80% to stun enemies. I haven't used it yet, but I'm going to use it. But I have only one of it, so I'm not going to embed it right now on an unoptimized item until I get one. All right. So we're going to go into Spirit Boons. So again, Critical Strike are very, very important to make this build work. And of course, you need good Spirit Regeneration as well. This is the skill tree. All right, I use this to get enemies vulnerable. All right. Now, Paragon bot, I probably will invest. Because I'm pretty durable right now. I finished Nightmare Dungeon 21 on World Trade 4. I feel that I can invest more in basically damage right now. I'm using poison as well, as you can see with the poison creeper, so I try to benefit from that extra buffs and damage that I have, and immobilizing target as well, until I have better cooldowns. Alright, this I went here again to get extra life. Would it be squishy for the beginning, but basically that was because I was pretty under-leveled when I got there. But again, this will be further optimized. But I'm already thinking kind of end game and with better drops, and it's going to be crazy. If I change eventually the abilities in the skill tree to Earthen Might. This is like my goal to get actually there. I know I already tried it and it works incredibly well, but again, I'm still exhausting my spirit pretty fast. Alright, let's watch some gameplay. Alright, so you can see here I'm activating tier 4. One of them, Nightmare Dungeon. This is 21 for tier 4. And the reason I went with it, of course, there's no reason to do lower tiers right now. Unless maybe if I don't get raw, but yeah, it's not worth it. I'm searching for specific items to really kind of finalize the build. And I'm missing quite a few good items, good stats. Now, the most important thing is that this build is actually scales very well the more enemies there are, because then there was lots of those projectiles traveling around and eating enemies. So again, if I want high damage against single targets, I want this single target, it's an ally, for example, or boss, have many other enemies around it, because those projectiles won't actually hit the same enemy. So again, this is why I don't mind having seeing lots of enemies, because it's just beneficial for my build. Now, basically, again, the goal is, well, stand still, because I have an ability that perk that allows me to increase my damage when standing still. And basically, of course, you can move while doing it, unless there's something that I don't know about. This means that you'll be able to stand in the middle of the action, and this is the way you're going to deal lots of damage, because where enemies are all around you, those projectiles, especially where enemies are packed, will hit them instantly. And you kind of maximize the damage by doing so. But in some situation where lots of AoE, you can still reposition, and when they're kind of a line coming to you, you're still going to benefit from it as well. By the way, the bubble, as you see here, I brought it when I played with the clan, but basically this is something I'm going to remove as well. It's not really needed, unless we're going to push a bit further away. So having this extra is nice, but it's not something that is going to keep probably in the upcoming days. But this is one of those builds that you really want to take advantage being in the action. And when I have the, by the way, the ability to crit almost constantly, enemies will just be deleted super fast. So I wouldn't actually mind just getting in those few seconds and become very, very durable to just delete all enemies. But again, until this happens, a bit repositioning is required, especially when there are lots of AoEs. Also have a 20% extra potion drop rate, which is, by the way, really nice to have. It's actually very useful, especially if you're pushing a bit more and you need this extra. Otherwise, again, if you're stuck without this resource, well, eventually you can die if you're pushing it too much. So basically, I'm getting lots of potion drops as well. Even fighting against small enemies, I can get them, and this is show itself to be very useful. And also, if there's an allied, by the way, I personally prefer having an allied with lots of enemies again as well around it, rather than just an allied. But that's fine. If there's just an allied, but you can deal just better damage and wipe the allied faster if there are smaller enemies around. And you actually benefit from having a big enemies around, because you can just hit the big enemies, and those projectiles that you see here will just fly around, and they're going to hit both of the small enemies, and you can continue hitting the allied enemy or bigger enemy. So basically, if I want to hit the small ones, just focus on the bigger one, basically. I also have a chance, by the way, to replenish 1k of health as well for the lucky hit chance, 5%. I can increase it, which is nice to have as well, but I'm not relying on it. And basically, again, this is a situation where there are some things that can benefit you. If they come, especially if you're doing lots of hits with the lightning strike, which one of the main advantage of having the lightning strike is you're going to get lots of hits. And there's a kind of a way to actually play with it with the lucky chance. To trigger something that might trigger much more frequently than you think. So things like, for example, I have something that give me 20% lucky hit chance to execute non-allied injured 9-allied target, which can be very good, by the way, although I don't have other good stat on it. So I might check it out, but it might actually work great for the lightning strike because of all those hits actually happening. So you don't have really one hit that deals tons of damage. You have lots of those projectiles that actually hitting, which can benefit and synergize well with lucky hit. So this is it. The reason I use it again, because on the Druid, I tried different things. I got bored with other builds. And yeah, fun factor is very important for me. So because of this, I stayed with this one because I have most fun of it. I tried Pulverize and Earth and all this stuff with the Shockwave. I just didn't like it. Some might, I don't. So yeah, most important for me is to have fun with the build and try to craft my way to something that I really enjoy, that fits my playstyle, and that's what I did with this one. And that's it. It's working very, very well. Of course, I have really bad other stats on it, so I need to get better drops. But if I get better drops, it's going to be even more awesome, especially if I change that specific passive skill to really kind of a crit most of the time. It will be crazy. So can't wait to get to it at some point. And that's about it. I hope you find this one useful. Give a like if you do. If you have any question, let me know in the comment section below. And I'll share with you, of course, more as I continue progress and finding new and better synergies for my build. Thanks for watching.